SES Defender of Freedom, uploading data log for days 580 to 594 of the Second Galactic War. Democratic Day Data Archive. Preparations to liberate the Hive world have progressed well in the past 2 weeks against the bugs and the bots. But to support upgrades to the Democracy Space Station, a liberation campaign against the squids has commenced. Where we last left off, Stage 2 of Operation Righteous Reclamation was underway. The dangers of the corrupted Hive world proved too great, and Helldivers were unable to reach the targeted sample numbers. But as long as a path remains open, the great expedition and extraction of Element 711 will continue. For that reason, Outpost Alpha must remain secure at all costs to maintain our foothold into the gloom. But within an hour, terminid spores carried from the gloom ignited outbreaks on both Crimsica and Gacrux. High Command quickly issued another major order against the bugs, warning that these infestations bear troubling signs. The gloom itself may be expanding for the first time since last year. This is absolutely an unprovoked, unilateral violation of the unspoken ceasefire that has kept gloom and non-gloom territories apart. The Helldivers are called to the immediate defense across every infected world, with a minimum containment of 7 outbreaks to complete the order. Mutated strains from the gloom are expected wherever these outbreaks spread. The Helldivers first prioritized the Dragon Roach outbreak on Crimsica. Deploying the DSS with the Eagle Storm activated, the terminid attack was brought to a halt. But in a daring effort to save both worlds, the Helldivers democratically voted to deploy the DSS to Gacrux. Despite their best efforts to save the citizens of Gacrux from being eaten, the safety of Crimsica was prioritized, and the swamp-filled planet could not be secured in time. All focus returned to Crimsica. The defense was on pace to succeed when a new horror emerged. The gloom began to envelop Gacrux itself, launching spores to ignite an outbreak of the rupture strain on Akamar 4. Yet within this crisis lay an opportunity. Helldivers identified that liberating Gacrux would halt the gloom's advance, but also extinguish the source of the outbreak on Akamar 4. The Helldivers first secured the safety of Crimsica by liberating its megacity of, what in any help here?
Bugs.
More specific.
Bugs.
What? Well, something like that, I'm sure. The defense of Crimsica and the Dragon Roaches proved a perilous undertaking. While not to the scale of the Hive world, the airborne menace had significant impacts to mission success rates. Through the will of democracy, the Helldivers voted to deploy the DSS to Gacrux to rally the fleet to the defensive gambit. And true to the terminid's simple-minded, fascist, expansionist nature, their spores spread recklessly, igniting a new outbreak on Pandion 24. Yet the stakes were clear. A successful liberation of Gacrux would simultaneously shut down both outbreaks and cleanse the planet of the gloom. The defense and subsequent liberation of Gacrux against the rupture strain advanced at a steady pace, appearing to affect success rates much less than the Dragon Roaches. Seemingly frustrated by their inability to satisfy their endless hunger for expansion, an outbreak struck Hellmire and Outpost Alpha, this time unleashing the ravenous predator strain with confirmed reports of the towering Hive Lords. Despite being hunted by predators, crushed by Hive Lords, and burned by raging fire tornadoes, the Helldivers once again succeeded in defending Outpost Alpha. The deadly conditions of this defense caused the lowest mission success rates among all the attacks that week. But further outbreaks followed on Crimsica and Gacrux, this time without the presence of new strains. And over the course of 2 days, Helldivers contained the 2 outbreaks, and finally shut down the attempted spread of the gloom, with another defense of Outpost Alpha. Thanks to the swift intervention of the Helldivers, the worst has been prevented. But these recent terminid invasions originating from the gloom seem to carry the gloom with them. Planets enveloped by the gloom will be harder to reliberate, and even more difficult as time goes on. Completing the major order ahead of schedule, the Helldivers finished off the liberation of Taric, and now with Cirrus completely cut off from spores spreading from adjacent systems, Super Earth armed forces began to make progress in liberation efforts. Throughout the last 2 weeks, a dedicated fleet of super destroyers were supporting the liberation of New Alexandria. This tremendous effort resulted in liberating 39% of Seychelles Beach. Across all 3 fronts, Cirrus was the primary focus until new orders arrived the next morning. Decrypted automaton communications reveal secretive mining operations underway on Mentoria. Reclaiming and implementing it may help us expand Outpost Alpha into a spore-proof subterranean haven. These brilliant mining innovations used on Mentoria were blatantly leaked by traders, embedded among Super Earth's mining contractors. The Helldivers are tasked with clearing the way and liberating the ultramafic mine on Mentoria. Both Mentoria and Outpost Alpha must be held, while its habitat tech is repatriated. The first target to secure a path to Mentoria was Classa. The initial progress on the Liberation campaign benefited significantly from securing the megacities Kodiak Falls and Sycamore Gardens. Classa has been under automaton occupation for approximately 364 days. Battles on the outer regions and colonies steadily regained ground until an attack to reclaim the voting district could be staged. Within 10 hours, the voting district was secured, liberating Classa a day before the bots could celebrate their invasion anniversary. Zephyr was the next target until a new strategic opportunity was presented to the Helldivers. To strike back at the gloom, jolly workhands of our weapons manufacturers have been eager to be more productive. However, not enough materials are available for them to work without rest. Should Virilia 5 or Coapessa 4 be liberated in time, the indefatigable working heroes can take on their extracurricular initiative. Helldivers remained focused on ensuring a path to the ultramafic mine on Mentoria. Leveraging the Democracy Space Station's heavy ordnance distribution, Zephyr was liberated in less than 24 hours. Over the next day and a half, the majority of Helldivers prioritized securing Mentoria for the Major Order. Supported by the DSS's Eagle Storm, the path to Mentoria and the ultramafic mine was secured. With the requirements secured for the Major Order, focus shifted to Coapessa until spores from the Hive world once again threatened Hellmire and Outpost Alpha. The security of Outpost Alpha and the fire tornadoes was the top priority, tragically causing the eager workhands to have to remain idle while off the clock. In a tight defense, the Terminid outbreak was once again contained, ensuring the remodeling of Outpost Alpha could be completed. With both Mentoria and Hellmire secured, Coapessa 4 was prioritized until the automatons attempted to attack and steal our ultramafic mine. However, this pathetic attempt was easily rebuffed, resulting in the successful completion of the Major Order. With the ultramafic mine in our rightful possession, Outpost Alpha's expansion has already begun. Gloom Base Alpha will span several interconnected subterranean complexes and will house only the very best of Super Earth's logistics officers. This localized support is set to combat the adverse effects of the Gloom for Liberation efforts on the Hive world. With this development now underway, High Command wasted no time to begin the next step to liberate Osha-Une. The Democracy Space Station has been approved to receive a number of improvements and augmentations. Among them is a quintable coating of spore-resistant polymers. This spore-resistant coating has proven time-consuming to apply to the gigastructure. Fortunately, Karlia has been identified to provide ideal conditions for optimal spray application. However, this planet lies deep within Illuminate-occupied territory. The Helldivers are ordered to secure the planet and its perimeter to ensure the DSS remains safe for application. Initial deployments have begun on Alamak 7 to secure a path to Alaraf. However, Helldivers have remained behind on Seychelles Breach to finally reinforce the weeks of effort to take back the planet. That is all for now, Data Archive. We're supporting the fight on Seychelles Beach.